Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Wednesday night edition of Inside the Headset, sponsored by John Jones. John Jones Real Estate. Nobody sells homes like John. Going to run down back to Alabama. Going to talk to the head coach of the Albertville Aggies. We bring live and on the air. Head coach, Bert Browne. How you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Well, just got off the phone with Coach Thomas McDaniel, and I guess you heard that his father did pass away.
Yeah, I heard that. That's terrible.
Yeah, and you know Coach McDaniel, and of course you are a Tech grad. I did not know Coach McDaniel walked on at Tech, but he was telling me he was telling me about that scoop and score he had against Willie Taggart and them against Western. But I was at Eastern and we got our brains beat out real good by Willie. He ran the ball east and west and north and south, but he put a lot of points on the board. Boy, he was a great quarterback at Western Kentucky.
Yeah, yep, he was.
Where were you at that time, Coach?
Well, I'm older than those.
You're
guys.
right, but where were you?
I don't know what year
that was. That would have been like 89, 90, somewhere around in there, maybe.
No,
that was 85. Was that 87? Maybe 87. I'd have to look.
No, they played after me. It's probably 97, 96.
Okay, maybe it was. I thought I was still at school when Willie played. But but hey, let me ask you this: do you remember Elroy Harris that did a backflip in the end zone when he scored a touchdown?
I sure do remember Elroy. He backflipped against us.
I tell you what, you know, Coach. I was telling John Jones. Do you know where I sat for every EKU ball game?
Where at?
I sat on the opposing side, right behind Tech, and and they had a kicker named Madison Gill at one point. You remember that, don't you? I'm one of those guys that was up in the stands. John Jones remembers me now. We laughed about it. Oh, he said, I know who you are. Oh, y'all came up in the stands one game. I don't know who it was. One of your all's football players came up in the stands after us. I was in a fraternity. I was a heckler. I was out there.
Yeah, EKU was great at doing that.
Yeah, we was right on top of you. I mean, we sat on the opposing side, and the band was always to the right. I was in that group. I was in that group that was just to the left of the band. That was part of my team.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
That was a crew up there.
That was we did our deal and had our fun. But anyway, let's keep it present and to this point. Saw some points on the board Friday night. You got into that deal with Sparkman, 44-20. But you had some success. That's what I'm really anxious to hear about. What happened and what was good that happened for Albertville? You're 0-4. You've been there, and you're sitting at 0-14 now. You're sitting at 0-14, but 44-20, you got some points on the board. What happened?
Well, the first touchdown they had was about a 15-play drive, and we've got them 3rd and 6 on the 6. We're playing man, and we've told our kids 9 million times, don't look in the backfield when you're playing man. Stay on your man. Kid just stares in the backfield. They full fade over him, and he doesn't even come close. And instead of it being 4th down and them kicking a field goal, it's 7-0. We get the football and do some good things, but we end up punting. But I think they scored on another long touchdown pass, and when we settled in after that and played really good defense. I mean, really good defense. And it was one of those nights, it rained about all night, but it didn't really rain too hard.
Okay.
You know, and we settled in. We hit a big, long pass. My little freshman quarterback stood in a pocket against a kid that's been offered by Penn State and Ole Miss and several other big-time schools, and the kid's bearing down on him. He just throws a strike about 45 yards down the field. So we scored a touchdown there. Then we
And that's a big moment. Wait a minute, it's been a long time since you've scored, hadn't it? When's the last time you scored?
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
It's
a party. It's a party at Albertville when you score.
Yeah, it is, and you know, like I say, we are so young on the offensive line. I mean, we got a sophomore trying to block a kid that's probably going to play in the NFL, about 6'5", 260. And you know, we're chipping him, doubling with the back, and it does not matter.
It doesn't matter. You put 3 men on him, he's pushing all 3 of them.
Right, and so you know, we did some good things. We really did. We settled in and played good defense. They scored a late touchdown on us to make it 44.
Right.
It was 20-30.
That's when I was getting it. That's when we was getting it. It was 30-20.
Yeah, and we had the ball down there, and it ended up. I think we jumped off sides offensively. It moved us back, and we missed an opportunity to score there, and ended up giving up a touchdown on an ISO. You know, when I do a cut up every Saturday morning. I go in about 6 and stay till about 10 or 10:30 watching film. I'll watch our game, then I'll watch our opponent, but I'll make notes and do a cut up. And I showed our kids every touchdown. And they run ISO to the left. We've got our defensive end and our nickel are running a stunt on the backside. We're running a blitz on the backside of this. Both of them sophomores. They run straight up the field to create a hole on a counter on that ISO play that the kid cuts it. You know, he bends it back and scores from 45 because, you know, we've created that. And, you know, it's like I showed the kids on Sunday. I was like, you know, if we do our job right here, guys, and we do what we're coached to do, that's a 3-yard loss instead of a 45-yard touchdown. And I said, those are the things. It's nothing that they did to us right here. That was our mistake. We should have eaten that up in the backfield for a 3-yard loss. And you know, the thing that we'll do is we will do that for 60% of the time, 70% of the time. But then we'll just do something like that is just mind-boggling. You know, it's just like playing man down on the goal line and you're a corner that you've told 100 times, don't ever peek in the backfield when you're playing man. I mean, just does it, and the guy goes right by him, and they throw a fade, you know. So things like that get us because we are so young.
Yeah.
Because our kids.
Well, they've never been in this game
understand.
situation. You got them to 30-20, and they never been at 20. I mean, you know, and so they're all happy. There's a lot going on in that 48 minutes, and you're trying to get them under control. And there was some things there that really happened that were good, even though you lost. But there was still a lot of good that came out of it, and this is where you've been trying to get to, you know, Coach Browne, and that is to get them to realize you can compete. I mean, like you said, they're not going to kill you. Just get in there and hit them. It doesn't matter how big they are. There's technique, and you can get better, and it's all about leverage and so on and so forth. Take it away.
Yeah. Well, it is. And we did some really, really good things. I mean, man, we made some big plays. We had several 3-and-outs on defense, and they scored in the fourth quarter twice.
Ooh.
It was 30-20, and they scored with about 6 minutes left in the fourth. Well, I take it back. About 8 minutes left, I think, in the fourth, and then again about 4.5 minutes left in the fourth. So it really wasn't an indication of how close the game was. The final score.
And it sounds like you ran out of gas a little bit too, and a little bit inexperienced when you got that far into the game. You lost your way a little bit.
Yeah, when we do that, in the first quarter, Stork. I mean, we will do things that are amazing to me. But I've got to keep on telling myself, you know, my little freshman quarterback played a great game. He threw the ball very well, and you know, you just got to keep telling yourself, you know, better days are ahead.
Yeah.
You know, we're playing a lot of young kids, and we're playing 7A football in Alabama, and we're playing against guys that are going to play in the NFL. I mean, there's no question in my mind. We'll go out this Friday against Austin.
Oh, gosh.
And there'll be a guy in that group that will play in the NFL, maybe two.
Wow.
And so, it's one of those deals where we're just so young, and then we play these teams that are, Austin's offensive line is massive. And
do they like to run? Are they going to run the ball against you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to run the football, but now they can mix it up. They got a real good quarterback, and so it's one of those deals where we have to have a couple turnovers early and things go good. And if that happens, now our kids, that momentum builds, and maybe Austin gets a little tight because they're picked to handle us. So, that's what I tell our kids all the time. Let's handle our business early. Maybe we get a turnover or two. Let's capitalize on that, and then the pressure's on the other team because they're supposed to beat us. So. And I know we all seen several times when teams are better than somebody and they get beat just because they get tight, they get down, they start pressing and things like that. So I'm hoping that we can kind of get in one of those situations.
Well, Coach Rankin was talking about that earlier when I was speaking to him, the Hall of Fame coach. He was saying, it gets late in the season and kids don't try and they give up early, and I see it all the time. And, I mean, how long he's been coaching, so if he identifies it, he'll put you away worse. And so, kids got to understand that, that full 48 minutes, when that ball snap, you better be Juwan Jennings and try to punch somebody right in the mouth every time. Not let them know, you may beat me, but I'm still going to come back after you next year. You may, whether it's at third place or you have to travel back over to them. You got to send a message that this is not over. There's next year.
Well, and one of the good things is we've been on the road 3 weeks in a row, so we're home for the next 2, thank goodness. And then we have an open date, and so I'm excited about being at home, and I think our kids are. 'Cause we've traveled. The other night was about an hour and a half ride. The week before was a 2.5 hour ride. So, we've been on the road, so I think coming home will help us.
Well,
help us out, and the home crowd, and all that good stuff.
When is homecoming for you all, Coach?
Next week.
Next week, and when is that Guntersville game coming?
That is the last week of the season.
And how are they doing so far this year? I mean, if you could get that one.
They're undefeated.
Oh, gosh.
They probably have one of their better teams, but, they're not playing against the competition we are. Now, they're 5A.
Right.
But they've got 2 Division I running backs. And, they won 64-0 last week. So
they sound like Alcoa. They're about like Alcoa.
They're a good team, and they're good in their classification. We play them the last game of the season. It's the oldest rivalry in the state of Alabama.
Wow.
And the bad thing is the last few years here, these kids are so beat down by the time they get to week 10 and play this game. It's kind of one of those deals where here we go again.
Right.
And Guntersville has been very good. So they've got a very good team this year. So I hope that we can get a few wins here in the next few weeks and go in. Of course, we're going to play some Bears here in the next few weeks, and I hope we can go into that last game of the season uplifted, feeling good about ourselves, and make that a good football game.
Well, Coach, I can't thank you enough for being on Inside the Headset. And if you get up this way, please text us. I'd love to get out and get a beverage with you and say hello.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate it, Stork. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. And be careful and stay safe and play hard.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
All right, bye.